is a little bit less food. And so people are taking home a much smaller average pounds per household than they would have just even a few months ago.
Welcome to Shoresides, where we explore the coastal North Carolina region's past, present, and future to promote community resilience. I'm Nicholas Magrino. With the passing of H.R. 1 and a month-long government shutdown, North Carolinians are facing new challenges. SNAP benefits could run out by November 1st, leaving 1.4 million residents of the state turning to local nonprofits like the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina. We'll speak to Emily Kraft, the Director of Community Outreach for the Food Bank, as well as Andrea Cherry, the Bilingual Benefits Outreach Coordinator, to learn more about how this new political situation has affected their work.
Sure. I'm Emily Kraft. I'm the Director of Community Outreach at the Food Bank. I've been with the organization for about 14 years.
Yes, I am Andrea Cherry. I'm a Bilingual Benefits Outreach Coordinator. I've been with the organization for 2 years and some months now.
H.R. 1 made sweeping changes to how SNAP works, but didn't give clear instructions to implement those changes, leaving both meal providers like the food bank and people who need food confused.
HB1 specifically, we're seeing a lot of cuts to work requirements that have to be implemented, and those are going to take effect in North Carolina probably in February, even though we are supposed to be implementing them currently.
That uncertainty has left outreach workers improvising, trying to help people understand new rules that haven't been clearly defined.
We're in a very unique position that we've never been in before, where we were given a policy directive by the federal government, but no implementation guidelines. And so we're kind of blindly implementing what we hope is the correct policy. And it's been unprecedented in the work of SNAP outreach as far as my career goes for the past 14 years.
The changes that have had the most impact are the changes to work requirements for SNAP.
So previously, when you were 54 years old, you no longer had to meet those work requirements. That speaks to how much harder it can be as you age to find a good quality, sustainable job. Now that has been raised to 64, so people are expected to work in order to receive SNAP until they are 64 years of age, unless they have a disability that prevents them from working.
These new rules don't just affect older adults. They also reach deep into groups who were previously protected. People experiencing homelessness and veterans who have already given years of service.
It's no longer an exception for the program. So prior, if you were unhoused, you were not expected to work because we recognize that there are a lot of barriers for people who are unsheltered. You know, how are you getting a shelter? How are you getting food? It makes it a lot harder for people to work, and that's why the work requirements previously weren't in place for that population, but that has changed. We've also seen a change for our veterans, which I think just hit me so deep in my heart because so many veterans were using SNAP and are in need of services and didn't have to meet that work requirement previously. They've served their country. I mean, to that end, we thought you've worked for us. But for them to have to begin working in order to receive SNAP, those are some of the hardest hitting cuts that we saw with HB1 specific to SNAP.
In Latino communities, confusion and fear are keeping some people from applying for help.
At the beginning, when the big bill was happening, I did notice talking in person with people, a lot of questions were asked. People were very confused. And I do notice that people are more shy about applying. I get a lot of what to bother, what's the point, I'm not going to get it anyway. That's from everybody, like no specific group of people. Going from the Latino neighbors, I do get a lot of insecurity and being shy about, is this going to get me in trouble? Are they going to come look for me because I'm applying for asking for help?
The food bank shelves aren't empty, at least not yet. But with SNAP benefits disappearing for thousands of North Carolinians and a government shutdown stretching into its fourth week, that balance won't hold for long. When families lose access to SNAP, the gap between need and supply widens fast.
Like Emily said, we don't know exactly what to expect per se, but we are preparing ourselves for a big impact for us in trying to get everybody ready for it.
For the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina, that preparation comes with a hard truth. Charitable food can't replace federal nutrition programs.
It's holding so far, but I think we have to be really honest that SNAP benefits provide 9 meals where the food bank can provide one. And that is a huge disparity, and that is more weight than we're going to be capable to take on. I mean, nine meals compared to one. That's just huge.
That scale of need can feel impossible. One program ending, another stretched thin. But even in moments like this, the food bank isn't alone. Across eastern North Carolina, churches, mutual aid groups, and community leaders are stepping forward to help fill the gap.
Like I mentioned before, I get to meet with community organizations, and I am trying to be very vocal about more than ever the need for volunteers and donors. For example, I'm part of the Latino Alliance here in New Hanover County, and there is a group of people there that are eager to help any way they can. So every time we talk, I get to share a little bit more because, like we mentioned, everything is happening so fast. Every day we hear something new. So I'm trying to fill in people about what's going on, where are we at, and how can they come as a community and help us with volunteer hours, spreading the word about donating goods, money.
There's one small advantage to the timing of this crisis. The government shutdown is unfolding during the season when the food bank usually sees the most generosity.
Not that it's ever a blessing to have a government shutdown, but if you are going to have one, to have it in November is not the worst time of year. Historically, October through December is the time where we see the largest donations that are coming into the food bank. I'd say about like 30, even though it's only a quarter of our year, it's probably over 30% and sometimes close to half of all the food and money that comes into the food bank is going to come through this giving season. And so we're going to stretch. Usually that gives us a sense of abundance, which is wonderful. This year, we're probably not going to feel the abundance because there's more need, but at least we hope to have what it takes to meet that need, especially going into the holiday season and with additional giveaways such as turkeys and being able to access those for our partner agencies. That is always a really big hit this time of year.
That spirit of giving doesn't stop with donors. It runs through the entire network of nonprofits working side by side to meet growing needs. As resources tighten, groups that once worked separately are beginning to lean on each other, sharing what they have and trusting that no one can do this work alone.
During the times of abundance, I feel like nonprofits, especially, kind of were more likely to work in silos because we were all getting so much funding from various sources and we were excited to use that funding for our community. But that abundance mindset kind of led to a very protective, sometimes nature of like, well, we're doing this one thing and we're doing it really well, and we just want to be protective of that. And I think that as things have become more challenging, the beauty of that is that we become a lot closer with our community partners. And we've realized, like, oh, we're all in this together. And as Andrea said, like, we're all kind of overlapping, and it makes more sense for each of our organizations to do what we do best. So for us, we're in the food space. It doesn't make as much sense for a healthcare organization to be trying to have food programs the way that we have food programs, but how can we partner and each be the expert in our own lanes, but collaborate? And I think that's a shift I've seen, especially over the past year. With the harder things get in the community, the more everyone has kind of just doubled down in their area of expertise, but collaborated more.
Cherry and Kraft want the communities they serve to remember that their food bank has already endured a multitude of crises over the past few years. This one may be new, but their organization will survive what's coming, just as they have before.
We've had many hardships in the past. We've had multiple hurricanes. We've been through COVID. And so we've been through tough times where we've had to support our community through financial challenges, economic challenges, and environmental challenges. And we've been here for over 40 years doing that work. And this is not going to be any different. It might look different. There might not be as many resources to go around to meet the need, but that doesn't mean that the resources are still there in communities. They still exist. And we want to hear from people too. Not only should people be advocating for themselves, but we want to hear their stories too, because a big part of our job as a food organization is to uplift the stories and experiences that we see on the ground. So we hope that people feel encouraged to talk to us. We hope that our building here on Greenfield Street, especially our market, is a safe space for people to come. Our benefits outreach team is a safe space for people to talk about their financial situations and have really open and honest conversations. And what we do is we give the best and most accurate information possible to help people make decisions that are best for them and their families. And none of that is going anywhere.
We are here. We're going to stay and do what we do best, and we're going to keep doing it. So resources are out there. I am amazed since I started in the organization. I'm amazed how much is out there, how many people wants to help. Like there is so many organizations, so many people in these organizations, not only ours, but inside the community that have the heart and wants to get resources out there.
From Shoresides, this is Nicholas Magrino. Learn more about Shoresides at shoresides.org. Thanks for listening.